is a true story that happened when I was younger, 17 or so. And it was a very popular video a few years ago that I had on another channel that I had to delete for personal reasons that I won't get into. But, oh, and I'm drinking hot water. It's very important when you drink a cup of coffee to counter that with equal amount of just pure water, okay? And do your research. Hot water is good for you. But anyway, here's the story. 1871, 1899. Some of these are just literally markers. Some with no information, some with information you can't even no longer read. Very old graveyard. Look at all these markers. A lot of, just like I said, unmarked markers. This graveyard reminds me of a time when I was a lot younger. I was 17, I believe, around 17, and my best friend and I were trying to find something to do one night, and we had heard of this old graveyard in a very small, like, settlement near our hometown. It wasn't really a town or city, but it was just a settlement. Anyway, we went out to look for this graveyard, and we found it. It was very small, not like this, just very small, just maybe a handful of tombstones, and extremely, extremely old, and it was kind of in the woods down an old dirt road. So we found it, and we found evidence of like animals that had their heads cut off and blood smeared here and there. And so we asked someone about it later, and they said that it was a place where there were like satanic rituals would take place there, and I guess animal sacrifice and things like that. So one weekend we got the idea, well, we heard that they took place at midnight, so we got this idea, that very bright idea, that we would go out there and investigate. One Saturday night when we heard that there was going to be something going on out there. That's what we were told. We didn't know, but anyway. So we went down this long dirt road, pitch dark. So as we drove along this dirt road, we saw in the distance the sharp left turn that we're going to have to negotiate. So as we approached it, we decided to turn out our lights because, if they were out there, we would prefer them not to see us, coming. So we just left on our parking lights for the time being. We went several blocks and then had to go left, turn immediately left to go to the graveyard. Anyway, we rounded the corner, drove very slowly toward the graveyard. At first you couldn't see it because it was in the distance. The road was a little windy. And then we came to one kind of a bend in the road, and we went around it, and we saw some kind of reflection in the distance, like in the road. And as we got closer, we realized it was a car sitting there, just sitting there on the dirt road. And suddenly it flipped on its lights and started coming like toward us. And it passed us really slow. It was just basically a one-lane dirt road. So we had to both get over. But it went around and then back to the right around that corner where we had just, come left. So it's gone now. We can't see it. Yeah, we could see, figures in the distance walking around, with these candles and everything, but we couldn't make out anything because we were still quite a ways away. Couldn't even tell if they were men, women, children, we don't know. We just know there were people out there walking around with candles, and they seemed to be concentrated like in this one area. And it's been so long, I don't even remember if there was 5 or 6 or 20. I just don't remember that part. Details kind of get blurred as time goes on. But they were there doing God only knows what. And of course we got frightened, and it's like, okay, we found what we were looking for, but you know, I guess we chickened out. I mean, what were we going to do? Go up there and say, hey guys, what's up? So anyway, we decided to turn around. For all we knew, it was about to be over because we didn't know what that car was. You know, in retrospect, we figured it was maybe a watch out person. I mean, I have no idea. But anyway, we turned around and went the other way. And at this point, we just turned on our headlights because all we wanted to do was get out of there. Anyway, we went back toward that curve and veered right where that car had gone. And there was that vehicle about 50 feet around the curve, turned around facing us. It had its lights off, just sitting there. So when we saw this car sitting there in the road, totally in the dark, I mean, we just figured that it was waiting on us. What else could it be doing? So we turned around, we had our lights on, and we saw it there, and we were like, we stopped actually, because it was like in the middle of the road. It wasn't over where we could like really pass it. Essentially, it was blocking us in. I think that was their intention. Anyway, as we sat there, I remembered my heart was pounding like so bad I could feel it just beating in my chest. You could, you know, hear it in your ears. You know how a lot of times when you're really tired and you've ran like a long distance and you're sweating and you feel your heart pounding in your chest and you can hear it in your ears. Well, that's sort of how I recall that night. So we sat there for a while, like kind of panicking, not knowing what to do, because it was like after midnight. We're out in the middle of nowhere where probably, most likely, there were animal sacrifices happening and rituals, and of course our mind was racing at this point, like, you know, this guy's blocking the road. We can't see who's coming from behind, but if it's over, that means more people could be coming. And then suddenly we saw headlights, you know, behind us and like coming from the left and shining kind of on the road, as if maybe another car was approaching out of sight and was about to make that turn. He was like, I'm just gonna go around the person. To go around the person, we'd have to go into like maybe 3 foot like weeds and bushes and branches to go around, because there was no room to go around. We had no idea if there was like a ditch being hidden from all this tall shrubs and everything. We may bottom the car out and get stuck. We didn't know, but I didn't feel like we really had a choice. You know, neither one of us did. We certainly didn't want to get caught out here, you know, after midnight in the middle of nowhere with a lot of satanic worshipers or whatever was going on. So we decided we were just going to go for it. But anyway, that's what he did. He literally just, not floored it, but he went really fast by this car, because when we started to get close to the car, the door opened. We saw the dome light come on the inside. So we went by really fast, really close to where they were opening the door, and the person kind of like jumped back in and closed the door because they didn't want to get hit. And we went just trudging through the bushes. You could hear hitting the car and everything. And that was it. After that, he gunned it, and we were just going down this dirt road extremely fast. We left the person literally in dust, and we kept looking behind, and the person didn't follow or anything. But, you know, that was our experience that night. And I'm not sure. I think we went back one more time. There was a girl in our class, you know, we were all 17, but there was a girl we told this about, or told this incident to, and she wanted to go see the graveyard. So we went, I think, during the day. Not again during the night. We're not that stupid. But anyway, that memory just kind of surfaced now, looking at all these old graves. That was a long time ago. Like I said, I was like 17 years old. And I was with my best friend at the time. CSA. CSA. Confederate States of America. With the flag.
So there you go. That's the story. And if you have kids and you do not want to sleep at night, just think about what you did when you were a kid. Yep, that'll do it. All right, take care, guys. I'll see you soon.